I'm Niel Hiscox. I'm Vice President of Publishing at CLB Media. CLB Media is a business-to-business publisher with about 23 different magazines, associated websites, e-newsletter, videos. We serve a variety of industries. We publish magazines for lawyers, for car dealers, for design engineers, really serving the gamut from white-collar professional down to facilities managers and really trying to meet the very specific information needs of each one of those groups. Why do B2B magazines matter? Why does it matter so much? I guess part of that answer is why I've stayed on the B2B side. I have done consumer publishing, I have done B2B publishing. On a personal level, I actually think we have a somewhat higher mission, and I think it speaks directly to why B2B publishing matters so much and why it needs to be considered as such an important tool by marketers looking to reach business audiences. We don't exist to entertain, we don't exist to provide a diversion. In its purest essence, the role of a business-to-business brand is to make our readers more successful at what they do. We are there to help be a training source, a source of news about the environment they work in, be it legislative changes, competitive changes, technology changes. But the outcome of our readers really being familiar with the information we bring, if we're bringing it at the level we should, is that they truly become better professionally. The role of the editor on our books, on all of our books, has really changed dramatically over the last couple of years to one that the editor going through journalism school and entering the business media world 20 years ago would never have foreseen. Most B2B media, when they started out, were the only information sources available for our audiences. So if you had a group of plumbers looking for information that was just about their world, it was very, very difficult to find. In many cases, the business media brands were the only source of information. Now let's leapfrog forward to a world where information is everywhere, and every Google search comes up with millions of relevant pages. Good, bad, indifferent, completely inaccurate. All of a sudden our editors have to go from being the voice of their industry and really the credible expert to being the filter for this massive volume of information. That's a completely different role, particularly for the individual, because many people who would take the path to become an editor, part of what they are looking for as an emotional payback in that role is to develop their own voice. Now this filtering role, they really exist to be the identifier of other credible voices. Very, very different role, but certainly if somebody is looking for accurate information amidst this fire hose of all that's available, having a trusted, credible filter that you know is separating the wheat from the chaff probably becomes more important than the role we used to have. I think the whole transition from a print-centric magazine publishing model to a multi-channel, multi-platform, more digital, more interactive model is happening faster on the business side of the fence than the consumer side. And I think the reason is pretty straightforward. The nature of valuable business information is it's incredibly time sensitive. And this is where the immediacy of digital media has had tremendous traction on the digital side. And so I think when I look at some of my counterparts on the consumer side and we talk about the things we're all going through, I really do get the sense we're the point of the wedge in the transition of media as a whole to a more digital platform. This transition is happening very, very quickly, and so we've really had to put the tools and the platforms in place, how we're using video, e-newsletter, lead generation programs, marketing services, custom media programs, all of these things to really address the fact that print is shrinking faster than on our side of the fence than I think it is on the consumer side. I think there's another very good reason why the transition to digital is getting so much traction on the business-to-business side. And it really relates to the kinds of information that we deliver. If you think about a lot of our audiences, we are delivering information that is very technical, often describing products that are very complicated or describing processes that are very complicated. And it's easy to see how describing that in print with a static image, with static copy, is a very limiting process. To be able to demonstrate that, to be able to use web-based video with audio, with interactive drawings, with in fact CAD drawings that can be manipulated on a website, it's easy to see how a technical user of information would get far more from that than anything we could do in print. So I think in many cases the different nature of the information we deliver is in fact far better suited to a digital platform than it ever was in print. So now we are living in a world with all these information sources, and we are participating in this world with all these information sources. Do our brands matter? Do our brands make the transition? I absolutely believe they do. I think the branding is the source of the credibility around that filter that we're going to play. And I think people really do. The more that is available to them, I think the more they see that brand as somebody that has been advising them over the years, understands not just the changes that are going on, but the industry that those changes are impacting. And I think our brands really are the passport into that new world. So with all this change going on and all these new platforms, there are definitely times people say, but what about print? There's this tremendous historical affection for print. Does it matter? And I'll give you an anecdote that I think illustrates that yes, in fact, it does matter very much, and that notwithstanding all the product development we're doing, in fact, our good old friend, the magazine, with its perfect binding or saddle stitching, remains an important part of this. And one thing that I see happening over and over and over again is where we're quoting somebody, I'll go back to them and say, you know, by the way, that quote appeared on the website, or it's in this week's e-newsletter, and they'll say, well, that's great, I'm glad to hear that, I'll take a look. But if I say, by the way, that quote is going to be in the next printed issue, the reaction is completely different. It's much stronger. It's, oh, can you make sure you get me extra copies? When we have a situation like that, you really get to see firsthand the vein of affection that continues to run through people for the print magazine. This is in fact a medium that has been evolved over generations, and it really is at a point where it's a pretty powerful tool that I think is an important part of the mix going forward. We have to think of what people get out of magazines versus what they get out of interacting with digital media. Typically when you go up on the web, you're looking for something. It has become an incredible tool to help you find what you're looking for very, very quickly, and what you're able to find is very interactive, very much in depth. What if you don't know what you're looking for? A key part of the role of an editor is to put things in front of their readers they didn't know they were looking for, but when they found them, they were thrilled they did. And print remains a uniquely well-suited vehicle to do that. I can put it in front of you in a way that is easy to interact with, easy to quickly flick through, and get a sense of what I think you should see. Things that you may not have thought of, things that it wouldn't occur to you to go and search on a website for. And I think that's part of the unique role of print. I think one of the other aspects of print that we sometimes overlook is that when a print magazine drops, until somebody does something with it, it stays there. So if a magazine comes in and it lands on my desk, until I choose to move it, it continues to be a reminder that there's some good stuff that I need to think about. The web doesn't do that. Whether it's web through my computer, web on my mobile phone, until I choose to engage in it, it's in the background. And print offers a great invitation to the greater information resources that exist in behind. Marketers are trying to figure out where and when the best way to put a message in front of somebody is. And I think the experience that B2B publishers have had in moving into all these channels is very helpful. It can be very helpful to them in understanding what their real opportunity is. Part of why business-to-business publishers have been so aggressive in embracing all of these new channels is because for us the fundamental opportunity of the web is different than it is for a consumer publisher. In that if I deliver an audience of lawyers, and there's 54,000 lawyers in Canada, the fact that I can now access the web doesn't make my available target audience any bigger. That's really true for all our books. Whether they are lawyers or design engineers or car dealers, Yes, the web and electronic tools mean I can reach a bigger audience, but my target audience is no bigger. So for us, the opportunity around all these new channels has always been not to grow our audience, but to have deeper, more varied interactions with that same audience. So what does that mean for a marketer? It means for a marketer that by making use of all the tools we have in our toolkit, we in fact offer multiple touch points into that same individual. We're not building an opportunity to reach a wide, thin horizontal. What we're really doing is giving marketers an opportunity to touch that individual in every aspect of how they absorb information. And I think that creates a unique opportunity for marketers to put a message in print that can reinforce a brand, to put a product demonstration in video up on our website that can now reinforce a particular product opportunity, to create white papers and webinar type information that now you're really helping to train that individual in the application of that product. And what I think marketers will find is that leading B2B publishers will be able to say, we can give you all of those touch points in one solution and package it all into a single offering that makes sure you're getting the best blend of reach, of frequency, and of different type interactive touch points. I think the marketers in our markets have an opportunity to learn with us and product develop with us. So in other words, we're not looking to be off in a lab developing our next product to unveil it. That more and more we are looking at a business model where traditional separation of church and state is being rewritten, and in fact our advertisers have the opportunity to be part of our product development. So that, I mean, what could do more to ensure that the tools that are available are exactly what they're looking for? I would really call out to our marketers to take advantage of that. Engage us, challenge us, let us know what you're having the hardest time doing. Let us know the tool that you most wish you had that isn't available, and let's develop it together. We are at a time where it is about change, it is about product development, it's about creating new tools, and more than at any point that I can ever remember, we as publishers are open to that change and really looking to make sure that the things we incubate when they are born are exactly what you need them to be. So I would really challenge the marketers, the advertisers out there to come and participate with us in stirring the ingredients into the bowl. Let's help build it together. It'll inform our business in a way that makes sure we're on target, and it'll really make sure you're getting exactly the tools you need. One thing that is clear in this evolution of the business is that the traditional separation of church and state really is being redefined, and it's being redefined in a way that creates new opportunities for us as publishers to partner with you as marketers. We're eager to have that partnership work. We're really looking for you to step forward so that we can build this next phase together.